questions. Let's go straight to the objectives without wasting time. Which one of the following statement is correct for oogenesis? So when you talk about oogenesis means, oogenesis means the beginning of the ovum, or the process by which ovum is being formed, or formation of the ovum in humans, or formation of the ovum. So oogenesis comes from the word oo, which means ovum, then genesis means beginning, to begin something. So it is oogenesis. So which one of the following is correct? So one diploid cell mature is one diploid. So the ovum cannot be diploid. So mentioning the word diploid makes it to be wrong. Remember, all the gametes are supposed to be haploid. It means that one end. Therefore, mentioning diploid makes the statement to be wrong. One haploid, yes, haploid mature ovum is formed. Remember, in oogenesis, let me show you here. Remember, in oogenesis, you have one cell. One cell divide to form two cells. Then the two cells, they divide to form four cells. This is the normal process of meiosis. But when it comes to oogenesis, or formation of the ovum, what happens? One cell will divide to form two cells, but this cell will degenerate. It's going to become too small. So it means that's why you call it a polar body. And then these two, also you form two here, yes, but one will not develop. So it means that it is going to become a polar body. So it means that when this one also undergo meiosis, they're going to form small cells. So these ones are just minor cells. Only one of it will develop into an ovum. That's why, and this, because it is a gamete, it's going to be haploid. That's why we say that you form a haploid, one cell, only one cell will develop, and this cell must be haploid. That is the meaning. So when we go back here, we shall see that one haploid cell, yes, one haploid mature ovum is formed, which is correct. Then they are saying that the structure in which the eye, the structure in the eye that contain high concentration of blood vessels and provide oxygen and nutrients to the retina. How do we call that structure? So if you look at the eye, the structure of the eye, yes, the dark part of the eye. Let's go to our book and see exactly what I'm trying to show you, or trying to mean. So this is the part we are talking about. This part which you see, which we call the choroid. That's the part which you're talking about. It has a lot of functions. Among the function is to have blood vessels which provide oxygen and nutrients to the retina, so that now the retina can function properly. So the answer becomes B. That part is called choroid. Then we go to another question, which is the vagina. Transports urine to the outside. Vagina, does it transport urine to the outside? No, it's not the vagina, because the outlet of the urine, for the case of the female, it is just next to the outside. It's just the outside part of the vagina. And then they're saying that it is a place where fetus develop. It can't be, otherwise you'd have seen the baby developing outside. Produce progesterone. No, vagina does not have glands which produce hormones, act as a birth canal. We usually know that the second name for the vagina is called the birth canal. Therefore, that marks it to be the correct answer. Then question 1.4, they are saying that the list below gives the characteristic of some young birds immediately after hatching. If you look at after hatching, eyes are open. Okay, They're saying can move around, cannot feed themselves, cannot feed themselves, cannot feed themselves, no feathers. Which one of the following combination represents the characteristic of precursor? So when you talk about precursor, we are talking about when the bird is born, when it is prepared. It means that it can walk, it can fend itself, it can have all the features which can make this bird to live in environment. So you will see that because it's born prepared, the eyes must be able to see. So this point is correct. And then number 2, can move around. Even this one is correct. These two are correct. And then cannot feed them. This one is wrong. This one is also wrong. So if where I have 1 and 2, then it means that that is the correct answer. Whereby I have 1 and 2, which is C. So the correct answer is C. Then they are saying that cornea, 1.5, the cornea and the lens are both. If you look at the cornea is the outside part of the eye. If you go to our book, you see that this is what you call the cornea. You see it, the outside part of the eye, and its function is to refract light rays from the object. And then the lens is this, which is a solid part and is very important. Yeah, both of them are transparent. That's why they allow light to go through. So let's go back to our question. They're saying that cornea and the lens are both opaque. So it means that that one makes it to be ruled out. They cannot be opaque when they allow light to be to go through. Both are transparent, definitely. They are both transparent, both are elastic, and both are inelastic. The lens is elastic, but the cornea is not elastic. Therefore, it means that this one marks to be wrong, and then this one marks to be wrong. So now it becomes transparent to be the correct answer. So we give you 2 ticks there. Then they're saying that which one of the following is true for a person who has an underreactive thyroid gland. It means that the thyroid gland is not active. The thyroid gland is not active, meaning that the thyroid level will be, if the thyroid gland is not active, it means that TSH, which is being produced from the brain, yes, what will happen to it? It means that if it's inactive, it means that the TSH, the thyroxine will not be produced, because if it is inactive, then it means that the thyroid gland cannot produce thyroxine. So you have to know the function of the thyroid gland, that if the function of thyroid gland is to produce thyroxine. Yes, to produce thyroxine. So if it produces thyroxine, it means that now it is inactive. It means that no thyroxine anymore. So therefore, it means that now the thyroid stimulating, this hormone which stimulates the thyroid gland will not be produced. And then now it means that if the thyroid gland is not functioning, then it means that thyroxine will not be produced. Therefore, now we come high level and low metabolic rate. High level of thyroxine, the thyroxine level will be high. Why? Because the brain will keep on producing TSH to go and stimulate the thyroid gland to produce thyroxine. But unfortunately, the thyroid gland does not work. Therefore, it is going to make the thyroid stimulating hormone to be produced more, keep on producing, because there is no response. The brain keeps on producing. So the level of thyroid stimulating hormone is going to be high. However, what is the function of thyroxine? This one controls the metabolic rate. But now the thyroid gland is not working. Therefore, thyroxine is not being produced. Therefore, it means that the metabolic rate is going to be low. Why? Because we don't have thyroxine in the body. Hence, high level of thyroxine. And then because the brain is going to keep on producing more thyroid stimulating hormone, and because the thyroid gland cannot produce thyroxine, therefore the metabolic rate is going to be low. Hence, A becomes the correct answer. And then number 7, 1.1.7 is gonna be, they're saying that the diagram below represents the visual defect. Visual defect with what is the visual defect? Now, if you look at this, yes, let me make it a little bit bigger so that you see it clearly. If you look at this, the image is supposed to be formed here at the retina, but now it's forming in front. So if it forms in front, yes, what does it mean? It means that this lens is too thick for the light coming from a far object to light coming from a far object to reach here, because it comes with a small beam. Therefore, it means that instead of reaching the retina, because the lens is too thick, is too convex, then the image is going to form in front of the retina. Therefore, this individual will be able to see objects which are near, yes, near, but objects which are far cannot be seen. Therefore, because you see objects which are near, we say that this person is having what you call short sight. Remember, if it is more than 6 meters, it becomes far. Less than 6 meters, it becomes near. Now, let's go to the question, because you have seen the defect. Which of the following is correct statement of the visual defect shown above? So if you look at it, they're saying that the glasses with the biconvex lenses, glasses with biconcave lenses, surgery to replace the cornea, and then surgery. What caused this? What caused this is not the cornea. What caused this is this lens. It cannot change from a more convex to a less convex. Therefore, we need lenses which is going to divert this light so that when it reaches here, it must go in this direction, in that direction which is a little bit bigger, so that now it can be, yes, brought to the retina. You see, we need so that it has a big field of view. Instead of the image forming here, then the image must form here. So what lens can do this? Now let's go to our answers, and then we see biconcave lenses, biconvex lens. Now let's look at what is a concave and what is a convex. Convex looks like this. So when the light comes, it converges it. And then concave, it looks like this. It's a diverging lens. So when light falls on it, it makes it a little bit bigger when it comes out. What do we want? Let's go back and we see. So it means that we want this light. Remember, the original light is here. So we want this light to be a little bit bigger. So it means that we're going to put a lens here, so that when the light comes like this, instead of taking this route, it's going to take this route, so it is a little bit diverged. And this lens is called a concave. Yeah, it's called the concave lens. Therefore, we go to the question and we see where is the concave lens. It is here, but they are saying bi. Yes, it is bi because this side is concave and this side is concave, hence to become the word biconcave lens. Yes, so the answer becomes B. Then we go to 1.8. The list of some component of the nervous system is provided below. Then they are saying that the brain, the cranial nerves, the spinal nerves, and then the spinal cord. Which one of the following combination applies to the central nervous system? Central nervous system is composed of two things, that is the brain and the spinal cord. So you look for where there is the brain and where there is the spinal cord. So let's go to where there is a brain. The brain is part 2, part 1, and then the spinal cord is part 4. So you go for 1 and 4. 1 and 4 only, which is B. And then we go to what about these other ones? These other ones, they belong to what you call the peripheral nervous system, the nervous system of the sides. And then the last question on objective They're saying that which one of the following is the part of the eye which with the highest concentration of cones. Cones are we have the what called the rods and cones. Cones are very important for light which is bright, and color, while rods are very important for dim light or in darkness. Yes. So now they are saying that where do we find this? These are the photoreceptors. These are photoreceptors which are found on the retina. And then we have the highest point where you have the sharpest image. Where is it formed? It is formed at a point called fovea or yellow spot. Yellow spot. So we go to the here and then we find yellow spot to be our answer. If you go to our book and we see where is yellow spot found, we shall see that in our book, the yellow spot is there. And then if you look at it, we say that forms the clearest image, So that marks the beginning of the end of our section A in terms of the objectives. Let's go to section A in terms of the terminologies. Structure in the eye, in the ear that absorb excess pressure. Wave from the inner ear. How do you call that structure of the ear which absorbs the excess pressure from the inner ear? That structure is called round window. It absorbs the excess pressure from the inner ear. Yes. Sometimes we say that, sometimes we say that it absorbs excess pressure from the inner ear, or sometimes we say that it releases pressure from the inner ear. So as I told you that this book you cannot find any question and cannot be answered. So whenever you have challenges, go back to the booklet, it will help you out. All right, then they're saying that the structure in the sperm that contains the enzyme. If you look at the sperm, it has what called the head. Let me just draw a rough structure here. It has a head, a middle piece, and a tail. If you look at here, it has these enzymes. And then this structure is the one which they are looking for, which we call the acrosome. So we call it acrosome. So the answer here is going to be acrosome. Site for fertilization in a female. These are fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes. Yeah, there are tubes. Then they're saying 1.2.4. They are saying that visual defect caused by uneven curvature of the cornea. This uneven curvature of the cornea, if it is not the lens, then it is astigmatism. And then they're saying that the nerve that transmits impulse from the eye to the brain, where the moment you talk about the eye, anything related to the eye, it is optics. So it becomes the optic nerve. Optic nerve. The disease characterized by degeneration of the brain and memory loss. So this disease is called Alzheimer's disease. So you must mind about the spelling of Alzheimer's disease. So it is Alzheimer's disease. So this is Alzheimer's disease. The way you call it, as long as the spelling is what is correct. Then the inner layer of the uterus that thickens during menstrual cycle. The inner layer. Remember, if you look at the uterus, yes, you find out that it looks like this. It's a simple structure. Yes, if that's the vagina, and then you have something like this, you have something like this, and then something like that, and then you have something like this, have something like this, then you have this wall. So they are looking for these walls. So how do you call this? We call it endometrium. We call it endometrium. A hollow ball of a cell forms during embryonic development. How do you call that? We call it blastocyst or blastula. Blastula. Make sure that you know blastula. Yes, we call it blastula or blastocyst. Sometimes people I don't know, don't give two answers, just pick one. Yeah, blastocyst or blastocyst. So that's how we pronounce, not blastocyte. Yes. They're saying that period of development of secondary sexual characteristics, we call this one puberty. Yes, we call it puberty. And then they're saying that the type of vision where both eyes are able to see, which we call the binocular. Bi means two. Bi means two. Nocular means vision. So nocular means vision, and then two means bi means two. So you are seeing using the two eyes. Then lastly, on this subsection, it is the plant hormone that stimulates the germination of seeds. Whenever you talk about germination of seeds, we are talking about the gibberellins. Why? Remember, germination occurs in summer. Yes, it occurs in what? In summer. And then this one occurs in winter. So it means that abscisic acid works in winter, gibberellin works in summer. So whenever you talk about summer things, that's where germination occurs. That's where the plants are developing again. So that is gibberellin. So the answer becomes A only. Don't forget that I said it must be O, A only. Only. The word only must be there. 1.3.2. They are saying that the part of the brain that connects the left and the right hemisphere, corpus luteum. This is not in the brain. Don't think even about it. Yes, this is not in the brain. This is in the reproductive system. So the answer becomes corpus callosum. And then 1.3.3, the liquid found in the front of the eye, front of the lens in the eye. How do you call that fluid? So the behind part, we call it vitreous humor, while the in front part, we call it the aqueous humor. So the answer is going to be B only, and then also here is going to be